It's like that video of the fireplace that's just a fire. This is just a video of shallots of me slicing them. Ready?
Ready.
Great. So this is a story about a humble pasta born from an actual thing that I did, which you would think all the recipes do, but they don't always have like such a pure origin story. It's really about the shallots. Let's celebrate the shallot. This pasta was something that I made for Christmas Eve. I have an annual party with my friends, and this year's theme was Feast of the Seven Fishes. I thought, okay, we're gonna have a lot of fish at this party, so we're gonna need something that is fish adjacent, but different. So I thought, okay, anchovy pasta. Here's the thing. Through a hilarious mishap, we had an abundance of shallots, an extraordinary amount of shallots. How will I possibly eat all those shallots? And I was like, well, I guess this anchovy pasta is now really a shallot pasta. But in the end, I was like, damn, that is so delicious. Are you following? Is this confusing? You make this really delicious caramelized shallot mixture with tomato paste. But the best part about this whole dish is you take half of that mixture and you put it in a jar or a container, whatever, and you use it later for like a million other things. And it's gonna make your life so good. Like just by having this in your fridge. You are gonna like get a promotion, you're gonna like, I don't know, find a parking spot immediately. Like it's gonna just improve the quality of your life 20-fold, I promise you. This is honestly the longest part of this video. It's just me peeling shallots, so get cozy. Go pour yourself a glass of wine, come back. I'll still be here peeling these shallots. You may be saying to yourself, you know that they sell shallots that are peeled. I would never do that. If you're gonna cook, if you're gonna do the thing, you gotta accept this part with it. You gotta get to know the shallot. Are you sure you don't wanna miss this one? This could be the one, Scott. This could be the one shallot you're gonna really wanna capture. 5 hours later, our shallots are peeled. That's literally the hardest thing that I'll have to do this whole time. This kind of makes double what you'll need for 4 people, AKA 8 people. Or 4 times as much as you need for 2. I'm a bit of a mathematician. Here's a shallot moment. So when a shallot comes like this, I will separate them, girls, so that I have a naturally flat surface for which to chop. Oh my God, just kidding. I love to cook. I'm gonna start them in a bit of olive oil. It's not like we're caramelizing onions. Somewhere between a caramelized shallot and a fried shallot. Most of the garlic is gonna go in with the shallots. And then some of the garlic I'm actually gonna finely chop and keep raw and mix it with some parsley so we can sprinkle it over the pasta at the end. While that's happening, I'm gonna make the garlic parsley situation that we're gonna sprinkle on top. I really like it to finish a pasta with something other than cheese, to be like, oh, it doesn't always have to be a sprinkling of Parmesan. How else can I add like something interesting and sort of fresh and salty at the end? And here it'll be a mixture of parsley, flaky salt, and raw garlic. So these are almost done. The other nice thing about this recipe, and this is intentional, and it's because I care about you, and I care about me. This recipe calls for an entire tin of anchovies and an entire tube of tomato paste, because who among us has not opened up a can of tomato paste and been like, well, thanks for the 1 tablespoon, and now I have an open can of tomato paste? I would rather you make this really delicious base to like do with what you will than have you figure out what to do with that half a can of tomato paste. So it's all for a reason. So in go the entire tin, and as you can tell, I'm just adding them all at the same time. I'm not chopping them, I'm not even really separating them. We're not gonna use the oil that they come in because they're just gonna melt into the oil. It's not a fishy pasta, and the anchovies here are kind of just working in tandem with the tomato paste to just create like a really deep, rich flavor. Nobody's gonna eat this and think, are there anchovies in there? So once the anchovies are melted, I'm gonna add a little bit of chili flake. You could very easily leave this out, but like, in my opinion, why? And then we're gonna add the entire tube of tomato paste. This is extremely gratifying. If you've never squeezed a whole tube, I can't recommend it enough. Oop. So we're gonna just take the edge off of that raw tomato flavor by kind of toasting it in the oil. While you look at this and you're like, well, how am I gonna add pasta to that? And it will be like nice and coat the strands. But we are gonna add the pasta water, and that's gonna kind of hydrate this paste that we're making. I really love like a long noodle for this, but you can use sort of any brand, linguine or fettuccine or spaghetti. A tube pasta would work really well, like a rigatoni. One lucky rigatoni. This is a hilarious amount of pasta. I'll just make this much. See, it's It's a fun little pasta. I just really like this shape because it has a hole in the middle. I really like it. And then I'll kind of just like immediately move it around so it doesn't stick to each other. I'll add about half of this. Okay, our pasta's ready. And I'm just gonna lift it out. I'm not even gonna mess with like a full-blown strainer. I'm just gonna put it right in there. I just like these noodles because they're just kind of like silly little floppy noodles. It's not like a serious fettuccine. So when you pull your pasta, you wanna make sure it's super al dente. And the reason being is that when you add that cooking liquid to the pot, you want that to not only rehydrate that paste that you're making, but you want to then finish cooking the pasta in that sauce. So you see how it's like thick and glossy, but it's not necessarily saucy. It almost reminds me of SpaghettiOs, actually. It does remind me of SpaghettiOs. And not in like the soupiness, but like in that, gosh, what is a SpaghettiO? To me, this is like decidedly unsaucy. Just like a sticky pasta. Reason number 400,000, you should own a pair of tongs. So that to me is like the perfect little pot of pasta. But you're gonna eat it and you're gonna be like, wow, that is so flavorful in a way that like maybe you don't expect because, you know, just looking at it, it doesn't look like there's a ton going on. But guess what? There's a ton going on. That's a silly noodle. It doesn't look like that familiar bowl of like marinara pasta with like tons of sauce. But this has, I think, like just as much flavor and is just as satisfying, if not more so. How much pasta can I eat on camera? I'll keep going. That's a caramelized shallot pasta for you. And bonus, you get to keep the other half of that caramelized shallot paste to do with whatever you want. How lucky are you? Use it to start your eggs when you scramble. You can use it to finish off fried eggs. You can spread it onto toast and then like put an avocado on it if you wanted. I wouldn't do that, but you could probably smear it on a chicken. You could probably toss carrots with it and roast them. Just a really nice all-purpose sort of deeply savory like condiment that just so happens to be like instant delicious pasta.